How's it going, Giants fans? My name is Alex. My co-hosts here, Andrew and Jake. Fans coming on to talk about this crazy win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That shit came down to the end, right? Heart stopping, my heart's like palpitating, beating out of my chest, and they get stopped with an inch, literally an inch before the goal line. And I'm sitting there like stunned. I know you guys are feeling the same way. After that last drive, a couple of penalties, couple of big moments. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, man, unreal. 6-1, wouldn't want it any other way. We were just saying, we're talking about coming down to the end of these games, these game-winning drives from Danny. I mean, the coaching, everyone knows it. It's just like we haven't seen this in years. It's ridiculous, and they keep finding ways to come out on top.
We're back to the old Giants. Run the ball and play good defense.
Saquon Barkley's the best football player there ever was. There's no way around it.
I guess Dave Gettleman was right at the end of the day, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Gold jacket player.
I never was.
I don't want to admit it.
I love Saquon too much.
I know. He's obviously not 100% too. He obviously is being bothered with that shoulder injury. He turned it up in the fourth quarter. Made some big runs. Of course, should have gotten out of bounds, but nonetheless, I'm not going to complain about a 30-yard run, another first down, setting us up for a field goal at the end there. But I'll tell you what, right now, Daniel Jones looked like the real deal today. I mean, injuries across the board. Ben Bredesen with the knee injury, Evan Neal with the knee injury, Bellinger looked like he got his eye taken out as a freaking pirate next week for Halloween. Works out pretty well in the timing. But I'll tell you what, Daniel Jones showed us something that we hadn't seen, right? He's able to overcome those obstacles, and he's able to put together a really efficient performance on the ground. He had 107 rushing yards, Saquon 110 rushing yards. Unbelievable. What are your thoughts on DJ today and just like how insane he looked the entire game?
I'm loving him. I'm loving Danny right now. I mean, he's doing his job so well. He's leading the team down on these drives, and we're getting wins. I love Danny.
He's being the perfect game manager, not turning the ball over either. It's just perfect. Exactly what we need.
And I love that naked boot they called there. They were giving it to Saquon, feeding him, and then Danny's ball skills with the fakes he's getting so good at that, and it worked perfectly.
That's facts. That's fact. Honestly, I actually noticed that too because, against that game against Chicago, when he was running those play actions every time, he was smooth with it, right? It looked like he was pulling the ball out and he was hiding it really well. And that little bit of reaction he gave after Marcus Johnson dropped that 4th and 2 on the goal line. And he was like, yo, give me he's like, yo, fucking catch the ball. We haven't seen that from Daniel Jones this year yet. We haven't seen that type of energy or fire from him, or really ever, honestly. We haven't seen that type of energy. And that's kind of what I've been waiting for. I don't know about you guys, but waiting for him to show like frustration with the pieces around him. Of course, you don't want to see that from, frustration from players all the time, but he wants to win, right? Like you can tell drop passes. I think there was 6 drop passes today. He wants to win, and to win, you need your players to make plays. And they started to look away from guys that were dropping passes. They gave Slayton a nice toss up, got the PI, started running the ball effectively with Saquon on the ground, and obviously DJ with the bootlegs. But what does it feel like to see him show that fire and kind of be like, we've been waiting for him to be that type of player for a long time.
I love that fire. I think that's part of the culture. Everyone is bought in right now. And that reminds me of against Tennessee after that bad pick when Dable got in his face and gave him some fire. And I think it got him going. He's ready to go. He's a player, man. He's a big dog playing. The energy is just like everyone's riding. They're all together, riding together. And Danny's leading that charge. It's awesome.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think also it just shows like there's ownership within the team. It doesn't like they're holding each other accountable and not allowing these like plays to just keep happening. So
the receivers needed to give him some more help today. There are a couple of really shaky drops there that we just can't have. I want to keep building. I want Tony back. I really want to see. Everyone has seen the talent. It's just the hamstring is tough. I feel bad for him. I know he wants to win too in that locker room. So hoping to get him back out there. But Danny Jones, he's playing. What do you think? Are they going to extend him? What's the move right now?
Oh man, that's kind of the $100 million question, right? Like, what do you do with Daniel Jones right now? I think that 7 games, right? We've seen 7 games of him. He's taken more developmental jumps week over week than I've seen of any player I've ever watched, right? I've never seen a player go from like he's guaranteed not extended to we actually may have to extend him in 7 games. Like I've never seen anything like this. And to be honest with you, the way he's running the ball is obviously next to none. There's not many other players like that can do what he's doing on the ground. So obviously look at Lamar, you look at Josh Allen, and even Mahomes, but he's gotten much better in the pocket. You see him moving in the pocket. You see what he's doing to extend plays and drives. And what's really interesting to me is that we haven't really seen the passing game altogether look that good up until maybe even this week or last week. And today we saw him throwing the ball extremely effectively, extremely efficiently. And, that kind of all coming together, him firing on all cylinders, the running game, obviously, maneuvering around injuries everywhere and throwing the ball effectively and kind of being the reason the Giants won this game today is making me think that he's definitely on the side of being extended rather than being let to walk in free agency, because I don't think that you can bring in a rookie and be as competitive as the Giants are right now without him. So the question is, how much do you pay the guy? Do you extend him on like a 5-year deal? What are you thinking? Maybe we just franchise tag him, give him that, I think $22 million. I think that's more than fair for one more season, see how he does. And if he's still killing it, then you extend him and you kind of ride into the sunset knowing you got your guy for the future.
Yeah. I like the franchise tag. I think that might be the move at this point. Let him keep building. I mean, I'm so excited with Kafka and Dave with this offense and to just keep meshing, keep getting. I mean, the improvement Danny's shown this year, week in and week out too, it's just better and better and better. I'm looking forward to giving him more opportunities to just keep doing that. So I think the tags.
I also think with our record, we're not going to be able to draft the quarterback that we want. If we were going to get Bryce Young or something, then that's
a great problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love having
it's a great problem, though.
Yeah. It's a nice feeling to have that back.
It is, because like the last couple of years, we've just been like waiting for the draft. Who are we going to get? Yeah. And what have we learned about the draft is that you could get a guy 5th overall and they're going to suck. You get a guy 110th overall. Look at Daniel Bellinger. He's been great for us this year and he was in the 4th round pick. So you don't really know what you're going to get in the draft. And I think just being a winning team is a lot more beneficial in terms of just like compounding success and seeing your players actually play with hearts rather than playing for the draft, which is what the Giants have been doing the last couple of years. So, right now we're seeing everybody rise to the occasion and looking at the defense kind of got beat up today. There was definitely some drives where I was like, all right, this is definitely, we could lose this game because of the defensive effort, maybe not of the effort, but just, overall, we weren't making some stops here. But what player really stood out to me? Fabian Moreau, that corner opposite Adoree Jackson, man, he came up big at the end there on that final drive. He's physical. He's big. What are your thoughts on Moreau and just a guy that nobody thought would actually be good? He's stepped up and made a big impact so far.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say that myself. I wish he had that pick too. They took that away from him, which is a brutal penalty that Dane Belton hands to the face. But yeah, no, I couldn't agree more that he's just stepping up. Adoree is that number one guy that we need right now. He's playing well, making plays, but obviously you need the second guy to be able to step up, and they're going to go at him a little. And he's really just doing exactly what we need him to. I'm a big fan of him this year.
I thought Darnay played well also. He's been playing well all year, I think, which is great.
Yeah, he had one nice play where Etienne was in the backfield, and they were about to sniff out. They were going to throw that screen pass. I think it was on that final drive, and he sniffed it out. That was a big play by Darnay. He got beat a little bit, I think, early on by Christian Kirk, but otherwise, he wasn't bad. I didn't see him make any big mistakes for the most part. But these receivers, there's one guy I want to talk about, Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, I know he got kind of stepped on and left a little bit early, but he made an impact today. This is a guy who played 23% of snaps last week, had a touchdown, 37 yards. This week, you look at him, 6 receptions, 50 yards. He made an impact. He had 8 targets. He hauled in 6 of them. This is a guy who's a long-term, asset for this team. What are your thoughts on Wan'Dale and just, seeing like the Giants have a pretty good receiver in him, and he could be what maybe Kadarius Toney we wanted him to be. If he can't return and actually get healthy, Wan'Dale could be that guy.
Yeah, I love Wan'Dale. I think he's great. He also he's like a Sterling Shepard, but I think he could be even better than Sterling, which is great for us. So I love him.
Yeah, I just picked him up in fantasy last week. I'm fired up about it. I think they're going to use him a bunch, find ways to get him the ball. I'm psyched about him. He's obviously a small guy, and I feel like every time he gets hit, it looks like he gets rocked, but bounces right back up. Just loves the game. So very excited to see how they keep working him in there. I think next week will be a big one for him. Definitely, I think I got to throw him in at flex at fantasy next week.
I also scooped him up, so I think I got to do the same. Just the target share. I don't know if you play. What's it called?
PPR.
Yeah, if you play PPR, I play
Yeah.
half point PPR, so I get, he gets 6 receptions, so that's an easy 3 points right there. He gets a lot of targets, but like you said, he's small. He bounces back up. He kind of like is like a mashup of Sterling Shepard and Tony. The quick movements, the agility, but Shepard's a really good route runner, and I think he has that route running capability as well. And he's freaking tough, man. Like you see, he's a small guy. He takes big hits. Like I think that's why Joe Shane ultimately drafted him, because like he's 100% maximum effort. You're going to get that every single time. He also can be used as a gadget player too. You can use him in a ton of different ways. Slayton also stepped up big today. Had the touchdown pass early in the game, 3 receptions with 58 yards, draw that big pass interference down the stretch. So that was pretty impressive. And it's weird though, because like the Giants dropped like 6 passes, but Evan Ingram caught all 4 of his targets, or all 4 that were on hand. So it's like, just the irony of it is like Evan Ingram's catching passes, but the Giants receivers can't catch. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is not how it's supposed to go. It's crazy. But
I know. He had that. It was like 3rd and 10 late in the game, and Ingram got the first. That sucked. I was like, come on. It's crazy. But yeah, no. I mean, I'm excited. I think, Darius, I liked having him back. His speed on that touchdown, you saw him just like quick get off and then just start sprinting. And he's going to beat guys on that move. So I like giving him some deep shots. I want to see. I'd like Wandale to return some kicks too and punts. I think he could be good back there. Although I can't knock my boy Gary Brightwell. He's a grinder too. So and that one he had the 50-yarder the other week was legit too. But yeah, no, I like that. It's good to see those guys. And we also got to. I think we got to address Dexter Lawrence too, just becoming one of the biggest forces in the league on that defensive front.
Oh my God. I mean, that guy is just an absolute monster. I don't understand how a guy that big moves to begin with, let alone chase down. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that play, that big run, I think by Etienne downfield, and Kayvon Thibodeau caught him from behind.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw it. It was nuts.
I was like, how the hell is he running that fast? He's catching up to a running back, and he's coming from the defensive line. Kayvon's got a motor, man. So I was impressed. And Dexter Lawrence too, big guy. They got a sack late in the game. I don't know if it was wiped away. On one of the PI. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hey, man, we got the win. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. A lot of injuries though, so we'll have to definitely keep an eye on those. But this is definitely a big moment. Xavier McKinney also came with that big play, that fumble on the goal line. We've been waiting for him to kind of step up and make a play too.
That was game changing.
Absolutely. It's those little moments, well, I guess big moments, that like change the momentum instantaneously. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that you go from losing to we're going to win this freaking game because of that one play, which is pretty dope. And I think that the Giants get a lot of like big play, those little plays that add up to being a big play at the end of the day. Yeah. And just discipline and well executed football. This is the best coaching staff I've seen in like maybe a decade from the Giants, honestly. I imagine you guys are pretty hyped about Brian Dable, Wink, and Kafka. What are your thoughts? Like, are you bought in? Are you guys like, I'm ready to ride?
How could you not be, man? We love him. I mean, it's like, I want him to coach us for the next 40 years. Like, I'm so bought in. It's so legit. I mean, the product they're putting out there is just so legit. Like, they're dialing it up at the right times, exactly what they need, and it's working. And the boys are executing. Like, I couldn't love it anymore.
I've been loving the creativity Kafka's shown too. Like, we had none of that. And this year it's every play. It's like, all right, there's hope that something can happen here. Where last year it was like with Jason Garrett, 5-yard, everyone running in the same spot. It made no sense. So it's just refreshing.
That is kind of crazy, right? We went from Jason Garrett to this in like less than a year. Like, how does that even work? Yeah. and what are they doing differently now that's making this team so much better? Like, everyone's, like you said before, execution. That's the key word, in my opinion. They're all executing to perfection. They put in anybody, Tanner Hudson, whoever it might be, and everyone's just doing exactly what they have to do. They're doing their job. Last year, we see guys running into each other. No one knew what to do. This year, every individual player is doing their job to perfection. And that's why we're winning games. That's why we're a fourth quarter team. We're coming back, and what are your thoughts on that? How long has it been since the Giants have had a team that show up in the fourth quarter and actually play to win instead of just lay down and die? You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the sign of a good team. Teams that in the fourth quarter, they turn it up, they dial up the notch. The heat, it gets hot in there, and man, like they just score points and they come up with big defensive plays. And I think that's the difference between winning and losing in the NFL.
Yeah, no, they're grinding. They're finding ways to win these games, and it's insane. And that's top down too. That's from Dave. I think they don't get too far off. They don't get too up or too down. They're just next play. They're worrying about freaking figuring out how to win it, and it's unreal. I love the effort. Like no one's saying, you can tell when Saquon gets in that mode too, starts nodding his head a little bit. Like they're ready to go. They're made for that moment, that fourth quarter. And we've seen the point differential and everything second half, fourth quarter. It's just like, I want my team to be a fourth quarter team. I'd rather that for sure.
Yeah, that's big facts. But guys, I appreciate you guys tuning on. Really, really appreciate that. And big win today. Obviously, I'm hyped. You guys are obviously hyped. Let's freaking go.
Yeah,
6-1, baby.
Yes,
we're 6-1 team in football. We're freaking killing it right now. And I'll tell you what, we're 5th in the power rankings this past week. I think we're gonna make a little bit more of a jump. You can't mess with us anymore. We're legit. The injuries and whatnot, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But ultimately, just winning football again. I can't even begin to say how much fun this has been and how much more fun it's going to be as we get, further along in the season. And, fuck the draft. That's real talk. We want to win games right now. And I think that's the most important thing. So I appreciate you guys coming on, and let's go freaking Big Blue.
Yes, sir, baby.
Appreciate you having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. We love it.